Hey y'all, Otome Kim, and today I'm going to be reading episode 1 of Araburu, Kisetsu no Otome domo yo, episode 1. And I gotta say, this anime is by far, at least as far as episode 1 goes, it's by far the best comedy anime I've seen this year so far, at least when it comes to episode 1. So let me explain why. For one, this sets itself apart from other comedy animes in the market so far. And let me explain why now. It already has a detailed cast of characters like Kazusa's friend with the pigtails, Sonezaki, and this blonde-haired chick, and this chick with like short hair. And so, sorry, giving it the names, all of them right off the bat, because it's quite a large cast of characters. And then you got some of the side characters like Azumi, which is Kazusa's childhood friend. And what I really like about this show was it talks about semi-serious topics, but it puts them also in a comedic light at times. For example, you have the characters talk about things like on the topic of sex. And what I find really interesting about that was it all starts out in a natural conversation literature club, because these girls all go to a club, and then it comes out the sex topic, and then afterwards you have some of the characters like Kazusa just think nothing, and they can't think of anything else but sex, and their minds are all in the fucking gutter in it, so to speak, in a way. And not just Kazusa, but also her friend Sonezaki, in a way. And then you have other characters take it differently, like there's this blonde-haired chick in the literature club, and she just thinks of it as, well, because in the later sequence they talk about this author where the premise, she's making a book on the premise of, well, what you do if you only have a small time to live. That's pretty much your main character. And then Blondie's like, you know what? I'd like to add sex in the bucket list of things I'd like to do before I die. But then she would actually want to feel penetration. And I like how in this sequence, not only is it comedic, it gives you insights into personalities of each of the character. In the case of the blonde-haired chick, while we didn't get much of her, we got enough to realize that, for one, she has no filter, which likely means that the blonde-haired chick is likely to speak her mind, and is likely not to really be affected of what other people feel about her. And you get all of that just through the lines where she's speaking. So that's why I believe she's a pretty interesting character. And then additionally, you have other sequences where you have Sonezaki, and she's kind of detailed too, in at least the small amount of time she's introduced, because she doesn't like talking about lewd topics in public, yet she's disgusted when she hears other people talk about it, which shows off that she has to mature to a certain degree to start realizing that sex topics they're going to come up, and it really isn't wrong for people to talk about them that much in public, at least in certain public areas. And additionally, the episode emphasizes that she kind of has a low self-esteem about herself, because when these two popular girls are talking about sex and how they wouldn't do it with this man, she's pretty much yells saying that they shouldn't talk about it. And then all of a sudden a lot of people are calling her ugly, but then this boy actually compliments her, and you realize how much of a low self-esteem she has, because in her mind she doesn't really believe that boy was honest, but you could tell from the way the boy that said it was honest. Because let's just think about it, anyone that's in a school setting, usually when people bag on the one kid in school, you normally wouldn't defend them, normally, unless you really like that person. But the thing is though, people that age usually don't realize that until they're way older, when they experience life more, and then you realize, well shit, that person probably cared, but that's when they're older. And that's what I like, because it shows you that Sonezaki doesn't really have much faith in herself yet, and doesn't realize her own true beauty. And that's what I really liked in this episode. It also sets herself up for a character development arc. Then you have Kazusa. You can grasp a lot from her, because there was actually the most screen time for her. Now, what I like is, as a girl, it even showed off that she really didn't think about things like penises and all that. Because when she was playing with Azumi, her childhood friend, when they were younger, and his penis touched her head, you can see their mother's getting worried about that. And that shit was hilarious. But then you contrast it to now, where Kazusa doesn't want to think about sexual topics, yet she sees it everywhere. She even sees it near the end when a train goes through a tunnel, and it doesn't explain it, But there's enough context to realize she was probably thinking of the trains figuratively as a penis going inside a tunnel, which is a vagina. Let's just be real about that. That's probably what she was thinking. And then not just that, she thinks about pork soup as a sexual object and all of that. So when it comes to the sexual talk, it actually affected her the most, to the point that it's distressing her. So that's what I also like, because normally sex topics affect people differently. Some people it doesn't affect them much, like the blonde hair chick. Other people it does. It tears them up on the inside, and that's what I really like. It really explores the topic of sex well within these characters, while mixing in the comedic in situations that can show up through these topics. And that's what I thought from a character standpoint. It did a lot, like a lot for these characters. And that's what I thought from the story standpoint. It was great. It was on point. Not a single sequence felt like a waste of time. So character and story standpoint, it gets top marks for me. Art and animation, it was great. Like, it was visually appealing. Especially even the sequence where Izumi was masturbating and you have Kazusa surprised because she was going to give him some food and the boy didn't lock his door. Fuck. If you're going to shoot your ammo somewhere, just close the door and lock it. But that sequence was good though, because for one, it sets Kazusa for a character arc where that innocent individual you think is innocent, at times when they grow, it's not so innocent anymore. Because when you come of age, unless you're asexual, most people are going to be thinking about sex. And I think the message of the show is showing off that it's a natural course of life. And I think one of the arcs is going to be the girls probably accepting that. So that's why I think this episode's also good from a story standpoint, and it also gets top marks from me there. And the art animation were pretty great too, because they didn't pull back punches. It was well animated. The frames were well rendered. The character designs were unique. Soundtrack was good. Opening was fucking great. Ending theme was nice. And that's why I'm gonna rate this episode a 10 out of 10. Honestly, this was by far the best comedy episode I've seen this year. Definitely one of the best episode ones I've seen this year, let alone this season. And that's why I can earnestly recommend any of y'all to check this out. And I rate this episode a 10 out of 10 because you can literally grasp so many things from this episode. Like, I fucking saw this shit in one watch throughout shit. I watched this a second time, I'll probably get even more stuff out of it. But yeah, y'all, these are my thoughts on the episode. Be sure to comment down your thoughts in the comments section below. Be sure to rate the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later if you come back for more. Alright, bye-bye, everyone. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great and safe day.